Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Codon 3, and today is the first lecture for glycogen metabolism in which we are about to cover the synthesis of glycogen in 4 simple steps. In fact, today's video I will cover all the steps in single slide. Before I start my video and discussion on this topic, I would like to thank all my viewers and subscribers for showing their love on my videos. At the same time, if you're first time on my videos or on my channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, please press the like button. So let's start the topic.
So, as we know that uh, there are different forms of polymers of glucose that are available in different types of organisms. Like in the plants, polymer of glucose is also available in form of cellulose or in the form of starch, where cellulose is basically used for the cell wall synthesis, whereas a starch is used as a stored food. But in animals, the extra glucose which is not utilized by the cells and they have been produced extra, they have been converted into glycogens. So it has a very important role in maintaining the blood sugar level. At the same time, when we consume something and glucose is broken, complex carbohydrates are broken down into simple sugars or simple glucose. These glucose are stored in the form of glycogen in different organs of our body. So, what is the biomedical importance of glycogen that we are about to study? So, in liver, about 6% of glycogen is stored, and its main function is to store the extra glucose and export function and to maintain the blood glucose level. Whereas in the muscle, less than 1% is of total glycogen is stored, and here in muscle, the glycogen is the only source for the glucose to be utilized as a prime source of energy. Biosynthesis of glycogen or glucogenesis is a very simple step, or we can say that it is a very highly regulated step that takes place in different type of cells. So, particularly, I have discussed this topic in 4 important points. I cannot say that these are the 4 important steps, but these are the 4 important points that we have or we must study when we are about to study the synthesis of glycogen. So, in first step, the glycogenesis, it takes place. The conversion of glucose into glucose 6 phosphate takes place in the presence of enzyme which has 2 fates. Like in liver, the glucokinase is available, whereas the muscles does contain hexokinases. And when glucose 6 phosphate, it doesn't mean that the 6 phosphates are available into a glucose molecule, but in the 6th carbon the phosphate has been added. That is why it is nomenclatured as a glucose 6 phosphate. I'm mentioning these things if some of the students for the first time they are studying, they have not gone through the glycolysis. That is why I'm mentioning all these things. And glucose 6 phosphate is a very common name in the process of glycolysis as well, and that is why it has 2 fates. Once glucose 6 phosphate has been synthesized, all the glucose has been converted into glucose 6 phosphates. Some of the glucose 6 phosphate will enter into the glycolytic pathway, in which they are broken down into pyruvate and ATP will be synthesized. But some extra amount of glucose has been synthesized. Suppose we have 10 glucose molecules and only 2 glucose molecules are utilized for the glycolytic pathway. The remaining 8 glucose molecules will go to the storage purposes, where the glucose 6 phosphate is converted into glucose 1 phosphate with the help of enzyme phosphoglucomutase, which changes the position of glucose 6 position phosphate in a glucose to the first position carbon of the glucose. Here this has a very specific characteristic of this enzyme. It does not change the position of phosphate from the glucose only, but the function of this enzyme is like this enzyme is or itself is phosphorylated, and it adds up intermediate structure of glucose 1,6 bisphosphate by transferring its own phosphate to the glucose 6 phosphate, and then removes the sixth number glucose to the enzyme, making glucose 1 phosphate. It does mean that their glucose 1,6 bisphosphate is the intermediate molecule with the help of this enzyme from the glucose 6 phosphate. So another phosphate is added on the first number carbon of the glucose, and then sixth number carbon phosphate is removed. So that is why they are producing the glucose 6 phosphate. Sorry, glucose 1 phosphate. So let me remove some of the parts so that it is less hallucinating. So I have tried to discuss all these things in one slide. That is why it is taking that much of diagrams into it. So once glucose 1 phosphate has been synthesized, a unique nucleotide molecule, that is UTP, uridine triphosphate, binds with the glucose 1 phosphate and phosphorylate it by producing UDP glucose. With the help of enzyme UDP glucose pyrophosphatase, and during this process the two inorganic or two pyrophosphates are synthesized. Again they are broken down into two inorganic phosphate, making the equilibrium to move forward direction, and for the production of uridine diphosphate glucose molecule, which has been abbreviated into UDP glucose. And this is the monomer. This works as a monomer for glycogen synthesis. So up to this point, if I go to, once again go to back to this discussion, what are the different steps that has taken place right now. Now the glucose molecule, this glucose molecule has been converted into glucose 6 phosphate. This glucose 6 phosphate has been converted into glucose 1 phosphate. Glucose 1 phosphate reacts with the uridine triphosphate to form uridine diphosphate glucose in the presence of enzyme UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase. So once they have been synthesized, they are working as a monomer for the glycogen synthesis. Here the step 1 has been completed. Like I said that point 1 has been completed. In a cell, one primer molecule which is called glycogen primer is already available, which is working as a receiving end of glycogen synthesis, and UDP glucose is added in carbon 1 position to the carbon 4th position of this primer. I will discuss what are these glycogen primers with the more advanced discussion in coming discussions, like point C and point D. So UDP glucose binds to the glycogen primer, which is basically chemically it is glycogenin for glycosylated glycogenin. One protein is there which I am going to discuss here. That is why I am not going in detail right now. So in the presence of enzyme glycogen synthase, this UDP glucose is added into glycogen primers. And this UDP glucose once added, you can see that it is n number of glucose already available in the chain. After the addition of UDP glucose, the glucose into the glycogen primer, its number changes to n plus 1 and UDP is removed. Again, what is the fate of this UDP? It is recycled to produce uridine triphosphate with the help of ATP getting converted into ADP. One of the phosphate is transferred to the UDP so that UTP can be resynthesized for the conversion of glucose 1 phosphate into uridine diphosphate glucose. So here the step 2 has been completed. If I just take a moment to delete all the remaining steps, it has been a situation that has been created in our body that if our body is starving for more than 12 or 18 hours, there is no glycogen available in our body. So like in the previous section, we have seen that we need a glycogen primer to add UDP glucose onto the C4 end, carbon 4 end of the primer. And if we are starving for 12 to 18 hours, there is no glycogen in our body. So this is the question that is asked in MSc level or in an entrance level examination. If starvation depletes the body from the glycogen, how this UDP glucose is going to be added into primer when there is no primer there? So this step C involves the synthesis of glycogen primers. So there is one protein which is known as glycogenin, and it has a molecular weight of 37 kilodalton, and glycogenin at the tyrosine residues, they have been glycosylated with the UDP glucose. So what is happening? There is a protein, on the protein there is a tyrosine residues which UDP glucose transfers the glucose to the tyrosine residues through the process of glycosylation, and UDP is released out of it. This molecule with the protein glycosylated tyrosine protein glycogenin, they work as a primer. And if you can imagine, suppose this is the glycogen which contains the single number of glucose into it. It is a glycogen which is containing a single number of glucose into it. So glycogenin molecule glycosylated at the tyrosine with the UDP glucose, the glucose attached to the glycogen and it works as a primer molecule. So there is a difference in this structure in the muscles and the liver. So in the center of glycogen skeletal muscles, so glycogenin is found in the center. So all the muscles, skeletal muscles, the glycogenin are found in the center of the glycogens which are available in the muscles. But whereas in the liver, the glycogen concentration is way higher than the glycogenin, and they are not found in the center of glycogen. Once this glycogenin glucose has been synthesized, which is working as a primer, and it is ready to receive the UDC glucose to be added at the C4 carbon of this glucose. So there are two types of chains which are formed during the glycogen synthesis. It is 1,4 chain and 1,6 branch point. So the branching enzyme is the responsible enzyme which is adding the glucose through the 1,4 linkage. You can add it here. We can see here that this is the kind of primer. If you imagine as a working as a primer, then you can see that the upcoming glucose with the UDC glucose has been transferred to the primer through 1,4 linkage. So it is continuously like in direction. You can see that 1,4 linkage has been synthesized. The another type of bonding in the glycogen synthesis is, as we know that the glycogens are the polymers which contain branches and the chains into it. So another bonding has been done with the 1,6 branch point. So apart from 1,4 linkage, 1,4 chain, a long chain, it is like suppose it is 11 residues glucose has been already synthesized through 1,4 linkage. Out of 11, a 6 molecule has been transferred to the 1,4 linkage has been transferred to the branching point, and they elongate furthermore as a 1,4 linkage. So what is happening in the 1,6 branch point? A part of 1,4 chain is transported to the neighboring chain of 1,6 linkage. As 1,4 linkage proceeds in direction, after every 6 residues has been synthesized through the 1,4 linkage, they breaks at a point and they get transferred to the neighboring chain as a branch point, which is like first number carbon and 6th number carbon. It is 1,6 branch point, and at only branch point it is 1,6 synthesis. After that, the 1 and 4 direction, 1,4 linkage continues in the direction. So this was all about the basics of glycogen synthesis, and these were the 4 points that we need to go through. You must understand while studying it. After completion of this lesson, you must be knowing the conversion of glucose into glucose 6 phosphate, glucose 1 phosphate, and then UDC glucose, which is working as a monomer for glycogen. And you must know what are the different enzymes which are involved into it. Second, what is glycogen primers? What is their importance? Third, after the starvation of 12 to 18 hours, when no glycogen is there or primer is there, then how primers are synthesized by the glycogenin? What is it? What is its importance? Glycogenin importance. Fourth, what are 1,4 linkage and what are 1,6 branch point linkage. Apart from that, in the next discussion, we will discuss the breakdown of glycogen and its regulation, synthesis and the breakdown part. Hopefully you have liked the video. If you have liked it, please press the like button and do not forget to subscribe.